Hello, everyone! This is Hachuurui. Alright, so today's episode is going to be a little short. It's hard for me to keep my voice up. I'm actually very, very weak from some stuff going on right now. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. I'll put a PSA in Discord on it. It's part of why I've missed a few streams lately, and we're going to get things fixed. But for right now, we're gonna do some prospecting today. Now I've made a prospector. I've come over here and I built myself a basic printer as well. And we're gonna do some prospecting and kind of see what we got in our area, because I need to get some oil. And in order to do that, we're just gonna need to find some oil. And I know this is like my refinery. As you can see, I'm in the middle of building and expanding the chemical storage on that, because we're already full. But I figure let's just kind of prospect this area, I guess, and see what we see. I will kind of move up a little bit. Why not right here? Okay, so from my understanding of this, how this prospector works is you place it down, you wait a little bit, then you grab yourselves some powder barrels, and you right click it, and it will do this animation. It takes a little bit. In this case, this prospector takes about 40 seconds. I don't know if the others take less. I haven't built them yet. But this will give us some prospecting data here in a little bit. So we're going to let this process and move on to the next thing. So once that's done, we're going to right click this data stick onto this prospector, and it's going to give us the data. So it's finished. We right click. If you see now, it says raw prospection data on the data stick. Okay, that's how we know that we got the data. And we're going to go ahead and pick up our prospector because we don't need it here, and we're going to get this thing analyzed. Now, analyzing the prospect data is pretty simple. You basically just come over here to your scanner. It doesn't need any fluids or anything. You just stick it in there and it processes the data. It takes about 50 seconds. And while that's processing, let's go ahead and get ourselves a squiddy sack and make some squid ink, because we're going to need that. We'll also get some leather too, because we're going to need that. So we'll take ourselves one ink sack and one leather. We're going to make ourselves some ink. So this is pretty simple. You just flop it in there. I'm going to go ahead and throw this leather in here for right now. We're going to grab our tank, and that will give us our squid ink. So we'll plop that on the printer, so now the printer can do its thing. We're going to grab 3 sheets of paper, because when we end up doing this, it always takes 3 sheets of paper. Okay, so 1 ink sack worth of ink, 3 sheets of paper, and your analyzed prospection data. So we're going to take this data and plop it right here, and that's going to process and build printed sheets of paper. As you can see right here, printed pages. It's used to make written books, and the book will have all of the details from that prospection. It'll basically tell us what's in that area. Alright, so we have our pages, we have the data right here, and we can just wipe this at this point, but we'll deal with that later. Now, what we gotta do now is we gotta put it in here. It's gonna take a little bit of refined glue, about 20 millibuckets, a leather, and your printed pages, and it instantly produces the book. And with that, we have a book of analyzed prospection data. Now, this will tell us like the ores within 40 blocks of the location. Okay, so this is within 40 blocks, and as you can see, ores found 1 of 4. We have emerald, gold, magnetite, vanadium magnetite, chalcopyrite, copper, emerald, iron, pyrite, basaltic mineral, and Fuller's earth. So there's a lot of ores. Wow, there's a lot of ores in this area. All sorts of stuff. Now, gypsum isn't that useful to me now, but the emerald, the iron, the pyrite, the gold is like meh, but the copper and the pyrite are useful to me, so that's good to know. Okay, now past that is the oil prospection. Okay, now looking at this, there's not a lot to work with here. We have 11 to 19, 15 to 24, 35 to 58, 3 to 5. Like, there's not a lot of oil or anything in that area. A little bit of natural gas, but I probably wouldn't set up in this area unless I was desperate. And taking a look, it shows you like how it's set up with the grid chunk, and number 5 is where the prospect area was. Okay, and each of these brackets here are 8x8 chunks. All right, and then on the back page it shows you where you were in those 8x8 chunks, and it tells you the corners of the 5 8x8 grid. All right, and the reason this is so cool is you could just set up a waypoint to those 2 coordinates, and then at that point you know where the 8x8 chunk is, and you can use that along with this data here to figure out what is where. Now it looks like we have a little bit at 7, 8, and 2, 4, 7, and 8. So 2 and 4, 7, and 8 have materials for the drill. But like I said, none of this, because it's so small, it's not really worth our time to set up the drill there, but it's good to know that that's in that area. And that is the basics of prospecting. You set it down, you use this to triangulate where the center grid is, and then you use this as a key to figure out, okay, this is where my materials are for this is where my materials are for that. And you can go from there and begin gathering materials. And this here gives you actual chunk coordinates of where ore veins are. I know some of these I've actually mined out with a miner, so it's probably just stragglers that are there, but it's good to know that there is stuff there. And this is all very important knowledge, especially when you are looking for stuff. So that's all very good to know. And that's pretty much it. I know this episode is short. I will have a little bit of a longer episode next time. But yeah, that's the basics of prospecting. The next episode, I do plan on getting the oil drill set up. I got a lot of stuff to build for that, and I'll get that built. But that's going to be the basis. I guess the only other thing I can do real fast while I'm thinking about it, just to kind of cap off the episode, is I'll show you like where we are progress wise on a couple of these things, because we are midway through doing some stuff, and I do want to kind of show this off just a little bit. We have changed the farms over here, and we got a couple of coconut farms set up, ready to go. And we're going to be adding 2 more farms when I tear those farms down. We'll be adding 2 more farms. One is going to be for lemons, one's going to be for rubber. And then we're going to move our gardens kind of like back here as well. I don't know how or if I'm going to automate the gardens. I know it involves Pam's crops, which is kind of like a nightmare to automate right now at the current state that I'm in. But we will figure that out and move forward with that. And then I'm going to continue building because I'm going to be tearing down the old building soon. And I'll be tearing down the magic building and finishing these up and finishing the new magic building. And once that's done, we'll be quickly assembling the fermentation system. They'll be using the lemons to make some stuff, and we're going to get our biodiesel system going with pushing it all the way to cetane boosted so that both diesel and biodiesel combine into a single fuel source. So I will continue working as I can. I will try to do streams as I'm strong enough to do so. And we will see you next time. So with that, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next episode. Well, that's all for today. Please subscribe, like, and comment down below and tell me your thoughts. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.